What's going on, guys? We're back again. This time we got some 2JZ shit going on right now. We finally got the motor back from the machine shop. So now we got a guy up here doing some body work. So there's a lot of ugly, pointless holes that are on the side of the car. So this guy had a great idea to give it a nice clean look, because that's what we're going for on this. Yeah. Cover up all those pointless holes that we're not gonna use. So all those pointless holes, we got them all covered up now. We left a threaded 10 bolt, you know, just in case. It's not a pointless hole, so we can actually use that one maybe one day, but all the rest are all gone. So yeah, car is doing great. Don't know when the last time we picked up on it was, but basically all the suspension stuff is down here now. It's all pulled off, so we can get the Mr. Paint Specialist to work his magic down here. Specialist, you like that one? So she's got some primer on her. She's got some undercoat sprayed down the tunnel. Starting to turn out nice. And we're just basically getting the bay cleaned up. We had a mock-up engine in there, but we pulled it out to do this. And we're gonna get her all nice, cleaned up, painted. But this video is gonna be about the motor assembly. So we've been waiting months to get this back from the machine shop. Finally got it back. So we are gonna start doing our paint work, our prep work, and then paint work. So we're going to be using the stock GE pistons and rods. These are the non-VVTI ones, so they're still thick. I got them soaking in oil right now just to kind of bring the rings back to life, because I'm going to be, for the first time, I'm going to be reusing rings and bearings in this. It's got around 83K, because this was an imported motor and it came with a sticker saying how many miles it has. So I've never done this before, but trying to get bearings or rings for this right now are super hard. Everything's on a national back order. It's been like that for months. I haven't looked at rings, but I've been trying to get bearings and stuff, so I just assume it's all the same. Everything that I've tried to get for this, ARP head studs, I've had to track down on forums just because everywhere is all out. So people make power on these for a long time, so I'm just gonna throw them back in and see how she does. So I did get ARP rod bolts put on the stock rods too. Then I had the machine shop check for roundness and all that good stuff, so we are ready to go. So we got the block all masked off almost all the way now, and then we're gonna start repainting it factory black, get her all nice and cleaned up. And we don't have no assembly lube, so can't go any farther than that tonight. Anyway, just getting a little bit late, so yeah, we'll pick back up once it's all masked off, and we're getting ready to do some paint work. All right, we are warming up the block with the heat gun a little bit to give it some temperature to help the paint stick a little more. Some parts store engine paint. And then we're only painting the block too. We're just gonna leave the head the nice, clean, bare way it is. That way it looks like more of like a built engine, even though it's not built. We're just putting it together. So technically, I guess you could say we built it.
Well, it's not put together right now, so
working on it. All right.
It's got to get built.
Doing nice light coats. Oh wow.
The head and the block is going to match the control arms and stuff, you know, the black and the shiny part.
And we're gonna paint that whole whole thing down there too. The subframe, the power steering rack.
It's gonna look nice.
Steering rack.
Everything's gonna kind of contrast off each other, you know.
Yep. And it's on to the next car. Probably let that sit for a bit now. Hit the other side. Okay, hitting the other side. Making sure I get those nice little tight spots first. This is the side that's going to be seen the most too. This is going to be the intake side, exhaust side. Yeah. I had to really think about that one right there. It's been a while since I looked at this thing. Funny. Let that sit for a bit now. All right, getting ready to hit the second coat. Let me make sure we got that angle on point, you know what I mean? Gosh, getting smoky in here. Ooh. All right. That's alright. He pays for it? Yeah. Man, we're gonna need some respirators in here at this rate.
That's what it stinks.
Huh?
That thing stinks.
Does it?
Yeah.
No.
You can get exposure to drip their hop at all.
That's alright. Probably can't see either. I know, picky, right?
Come on, dude. Do her up.
All right, that side's pretty glossy. We'll move on to the next. All right, see if we can get a close up on this one. You like that?
Yeah, we just learned that. Right here is paint.
Kind of hard to see. Huh? Oh, up there? Probably not. Just because I've learned my lesson when stuff like that gets painted and they get taken off a bunch. The paint tends to come off and then it starts looking even worse. I like my lug nuts. All right, so I'm extra crammed in here today, so it's taking a little bit longer to get things done. It's kind of windy outside, so I'm not really trying to push the 240 outside and possibly a branch break off and fly into it, because this car turned out really nice. So we're just gonna kind of leave, I'm gonna kind of leave everything parked in here, but we got a lot going on in here right now. Pretty much all the cars are getting redone besides this one. So hatch is all taken apart right now. Turbo kit's all pulled off. Upgrading that, and then the third gen's gonna get some love too. The Infinity is getting all the work right now. So we sprayed undercoat under there, and it turned out great. We masked it off right there to give it a nice straight line. So came out excellent down there. But we also have 5.3 rebuild that we're gonna do, so we're just crammed in here. We got the GSR we're still building too, just need to get a couple more parts. Mock-up motor right here. So yeah, there's this toolbox way over there, so a little crammy, but making things happen. As soon as I can get the crank in here, I can use this table to put all my tools on, and it's gonna help things go good. All the suspension for the g35 is pulled off. The entire front suspension for the Infinity is all right here. So we need a bigger shop one day though. But anyway, so I got the 2J flipped over. I'm reusing the stock bearings that came in it. As you can see, they are all numbered. We got 3, 4, and 7. We can see those right there. And then the machine shop even went through the hassle to take a picture. We see the starter goes right there, but they wrote down all the clearances right there. So these are a little bit more loose for a 2JZ for what they say for the book though, but big boost, a little bit more loose is what we want. So that is perfect. Another reason why I see how people make good power on these blocks. But anyway, that's gonna show where they go. And even on the rods, they got little engravements. So you see how this one says number 4 that's engraved in there. So that just shows where everything goes, where it was measured at the machine shop. Everything checked out great. So I'm just gonna throw it all back together. I'm gonna hone the cylinders just a little bit, that you can still see the crosshatch pretty good. So I'm just gonna do a quick little swoop in there to make sure it's all nice and clean, and then that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna go too far today. I had to wait to get assembly lube, so I had to wait all morning for that. But if I can at least get the pistons and the crank in, all the bearings in the right spot, I would feel pretty happy with that. So we'll just put some music on and start a time lapse or something. All right, first thing I'm gonna do, we get some brake clean, paper towel, wet it up, make sure all my bearing surfaces are nice, clean. See, look at that dirt. Nice, clean, and free of debris. Oh yeah. I don't know if the GoPro can pick that up, but she's definitely picking up some dirt. It is one of the most important things, cleanliness. Making sure all this stuff is nice and clean. Especially if it involves a bearing of any type. Oh yeah, she's dirty for sure. So, as you can see, picked up some dirt. So I'm gonna spray the other side, go over it again and make sure there's no little paper towels in there, get it all nice and clean. Okay, I got my paper towel, brake clean right there. I'm gonna unwrap the bearings. They go in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just gonna give the underside of the bearing a quick wipe down. So I'm gonna put these someplace safe for now. So this is bearing number 1. It's also got a little engravement right there that says 1. So I'm just gonna go under, make sure it's nice, clean, and I'm gonna dry it off. Snap the bearing in like so. Bearings still look brand new. Then I'm just gonna repeat the process for all of them. This last bearing right here has some dirt on it for sure, so that just shows that we're being cautious and we're making sure everything is clean, so we know we're doing everything right. So that last one has some dirt on it too, so they were the majority of them were clean. 2 of them had some dirt, but now that's just something we know everything's clean. So we're getting ready to slap in assembly lube and drop the crank in. Bearing tolerances did come out a little bit loose, but that's okay. So we know they're loose. We're not going to be checking them with plastic gauge or nothing. Machine shop verified specs, and they even went ahead and numbered all the bearings where they go for me. So I know it is good to always double check the machine shop's work no matter what. Double check bore size, bearing clearances, piston to wall clearance, all that stuff. You always want to double check, but I've had pretty good luck with machine shops around this area, so I'm just gonna go ahead, trust them. Worst case scenario, if it does need another rebuild, I'm not afraid to go forward and really push it. But like I said, they do great things. I really want to push the limits of this stock block eventually, not right away, but eventually I do really want to crank it up and see how much we can push out of this. So yeah, I got some assembly lube from the parts store. Went with Lucas. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay some heavy coats on top of the bearings, drop the crank in, spin it around, drop the mains in, probably make sure I got the thrust bearings. So I'm gonna make sure I got everything before I go ahead. Okay, I just got the thrust bearings on, put a little bit of lube on the side to help them stick. This stuff looks really nice. It contains zinc, which is great. So I just verified how those go because it's my first time putting a 2JZ together. So I found out which way the rod caps go. Got the bearing indent facing the other bearing indent, so that would be towards the intake side. So now these thrusts have this little indent right there, and then this part, let's see, they got the indent right there, and then this part pokes down. So now I know I have those thrusts in the right spot. Now I can lube up the bearings and grab the crank. Don't be afraid to be thick. All right, we got some lube on there. I'm gonna go ahead and rub it around with my fingers since I want to make sure I got no concerns. I'm being extra on this build. I know I've been waiting a long time to do a build like this, so I'm super excited. I got a bang and I haven't even opened it yet just because I'm so excited just to start on this. So I'm gonna grab the crank, pop her in. So crank still all wrapped up, so I'm gonna get her all opened up, throw her in. Definitely ain't like no Honda crank, let me tell you what. Oh yeah, you're making me work. And there is a zip tie I gotta cut on the end, it looks like. So I can at least put the crank on like this for now. Oh yeah, fitment is tight. She's in there. So now I'm gonna cut this plastic off and throw some more lube on it. Throw the caps Something off. Pretty important to note: whenever you're doing any type of work that involves the torque, you always want to make sure that it's flush before you start to torque it. So as you can see, there's a gap here or a gap there. So we want to make sure that this is all completely flush before we actually start to put any torque on it. I'm just going to go ahead and give her some taps down. Nothing hard or aggressive. Just something like that. Now we can see it is flush on both sides, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to all the caps and put some oil around the threads and start our torque sequence. And I don't know none of that stuff, so I gotta go do some research and figure out what those specs are. Okay, so we're going to 33 foot-pounds for the first sequence. Okay, everything is torqued down. It's my first time ever doing a second sequence in a 90-degree turn, but she spins nice. So I'm just gonna keep spinning it for a bit, make sure everything looks and feels good. Then I'm gonna go ahead and slap the pistons in. Got the motor flipped over, went ahead and did a quick, very light hone because we can still see the cross hatching on the cylinders. So just did a very light one. And now I'm gonna get a paper towel, clean it with brake clean, clean the top of the surface. Actually, no, before I do that, we're dropping the pistons in. So yeah, I'm gonna lube up the cylinders, drop in the pistons. So these rings were looking a little rough at first, so I've had them sitting overnight in some oil and WD-40. So they look pretty much brand new now. So that's a nice little trick. First time I've ever done that, but it brought the rings right back to life. So I'm good to put these back in. Alright, so I got some WD-40 in the cylinders right now just to give a nice little coat of oil in there. I'm gonna bust out the assembly lube now. Put a little bit in here. Go all around. Now I got 2 layers of oil in there. Just gonna wait until I do whatever cylinders first to put some lube in there. So like right now I'm doing 1 and 6. So Now since those are all oiled up, I can get the piston ring clamp on the piston. Make sure the piston ring compressor got a lot of lube inside of it too, or else, you know, your time's not going to be fun. I'm using a very basic compressor. Just gonna put a bunch of lube around the inside, get it all nice slippery, throw the piston in there, go from there. Okay, got it compressed. Got the skirt of the piston sticking up just a little bit, the dot facing towards the timing belt, just like on Hondas too. The skirt is gonna align it go around, give her some love taps, make sure everything's all nice and square. See if I can get another click out of her. The gloves are super slippery right now, so. Yup, definitely got one more. But is it gonna be enough? I think that's it. Go around, make sure everything's all nice and square again. Make sure the dot's facing the timing belt side. First try. I remember the first time I put a piston in, it took me hours. I was getting so mad till I found out that little trick. 2J's got his first piston. Anyway, the SD card is getting a little full, so I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that process for 6, 2, 4, and then 4, or 3 and 4, wherever the crank lines up. So it looks like after I do 1 and 6, I'll do 4 and 3 next. All right, it is the next week. The GoPro SD card got all filled up, but the head is on the block. Everything turned out really nice. So now, I guess that's gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna start doing the oil pump and all the timing stuff, put the cams in, and yeah, that's gonna be for the next video though. But I can finally end this one now. The long block is assembled for the most part. Just have to do all the small stuff, put the cams in, get it timed, and then figure out what parts I'm missing here or there. I'm sure there'll be parts everywhere. So that'll be it for this video, I guess. Until the next one.